Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome to the Hive. In this video, we'll be taking a look at my new Google Nest Hub. As always, we'll take a look around the outside of the box. We'll see what's in the box. We'll get it set up with the Google Home app and see if we can make it work with Home Assistant. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe? And if you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification when I release new videos each week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, there's affiliate links to smart home gadgets that you can buy for your own smart home and support the channel at the same time in the video description. Or you can support the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. Of course, those affiliate links and my Buy Me a Coffee link can all be found on my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So, as you might know, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I have mostly Amazon Echo devices as my digital assistants around the house, and they're great, but I've had some questions about using the Google Nest Hubs as well. And with Matter devices starting to hit the market, I'm also wanting to set up some of my Matter devices with multi-admin to better be able to demonstrate that concept. So I picked up this Google Nest Hub from JB Hi-Fi on special for $99. They're normally $149, but there's a couple of reasons that I wanted it. This one is in the charcoal color. There's a few more ideas that I want to try out with the Google Nest Hub rather than just doing a regular review. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on some of those videos that are yet to come. Now, before we get started, you do need to meet a couple of prerequisites. Obviously, you're going to need to have a Google account of some description, whether that's Gmail or you've already got other Google Home devices, you're going to need that Google account. You're also going to need to have the Google Home app installed on your phone. Now, if you are an Android user, you probably already meet the Google account requirements, and you can just install the Google Home app from the Google Play Store if it's not already on your phone. And for iOS users, Apple users, you can just install the Google Home app from the iOS App Store. Let's start by taking a look around the box. Now, on the front, we have a picture of the Nest Hub. We see that it's a 7-inch display and it's the second generation. And it says in the bottom right. That is our summon word, of course. Now on the right-hand edge, this is just some marketing copy. It says, control your compatible lights, TV, smart devices with a tap or your voice. Enjoy YouTube and Netflix and stream music on the enhanced speaker. Ask Google to set reminders, find recipes and answers and more. See your best and latest shots from Google Photos automatically, so that's kind of cool. Easily turn the microphone off for privacy and switch it back on at any time. Wake up to a sunrise alarm and turn on sleep sensing for sleep tracking and personalized insights. And there's an asterisk next to that. Subscription service required, sold separately is the asterisk there. It also says here that it's Bluetooth, Wi-Fi thread, works with Android and iOS, and Chromecast built in. Now that Chromecast built in is actually important for us for a future experiment. And we've got a little serving suggestion there as well. On the back, another serving suggestion and help in any room. And on the left side edge, we've got some different things that it can do. So play some music, open Netflix, turn on the lights, show me the front door camera, broadcast that it's dinner time, wake me up at 7 a.m. and see the bottom of the box for details. YouTube Music, Google Photos, Google Maps, Google Calendar, Netflix, Disney, Spotify, and Philips Hue. And it says also here that it works with hundreds of smart devices from the brands that you love. Take a look at our growing list of compatible apps and partners at g.co/nesthub/partners. On the bottom of the box, we see Google Nest Hub, 7-inch second generation charcoal. Again, what's included is a Nest Hub and an AC power adapter, which is required. There's some small print there about controlling certain devices and features require a compatible smart device. For example, seeing your front door camera in Nest Hub requires a compatible smart camera linked to Nest Hub. To see personal photos, Google Photos is required. Voice Match supports up to 6 users, so that's nice. Nest Hub requires a Wi-Fi network and nearby electrical socket and a compatible mobile device. A Google account is required for full access to features. Minimum OS requirements are available at g.co/hub/rec. The Nest Hub sleep sensing features require a subscription sold separately and are subject to your permissions and settings. They use motion, sound, and other device and sensor data to work and require placing the device close to the bed and calibrating the device for your sleeping position. Google Fit and other Google apps may be required for full functionality. Availability and performance of certain features and services are service, device, and network dependent and may not be barriers. Subscriptions may be required and additional terms, conditions, or charges may apply. Nest Hub is optimized for select content services only. All features, functionality, and other product applications are subject to change. Google LLC. There's some data about the different logos that appear, things like Google Nest Hub logo, the Bluetooth logo. iOS is a trademark of Cisco. Some patent information on this website here. It says the actual product color may vary from the image, and Google's address there. And we've also got barcodes and serial numbers and stuff here on the bottom right. So with the outside of the box out of the way, let's get it out of the box. So I'm just going to run my thumbnail down these edges of the cellophane here so that I can get into the box. Okay, so we've got the plastic out and we can just lift the top of the box up. And there's the unit. It's got a kind of Google logo on the front, and we can pull the unit out, and that is how it looks. We'll put that aside for the moment. Inside here, we can lift up from this dot. We've got a getting started guide in here. It says connect the power adapter to your Google Nest Hub and plug it in. Get the Google Home app and tap plus to add your Nest Hub. And to discover more, go to g.co Nest Hub Explore. There's some other stuff here. Being part of your home means respecting your privacy, and some warranty information there. And this little bit of cardboard here has our power adapter folded into it, so we can pull that out and grab that. And it is surprisingly a barrel jack connector. It's about a 2mm barrel jack connector. It's quite small. I'm surprised because I would have expected it to be USB Type-C. So I'll take the screen protector off as well. There we go. Screen protector's off, and I'll plug the power cable into the back. And that's pretty much it. I'll just turn it around, and you'll see we've got this switch at the back. I suspect that is to do with disabling the microphone, and there's a button here which kind of feels like it might be a rocker switch, and I think that might be our volume adjustment there. We'll find out more as we get into it. So I will plug in the power and we'll turn it on. So first power up, we've got our Google logo coming up, and it's got our 4 colored dots coming up. And playing a little startup sound there. And our colored Google logo now.
Hi. To get started, download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
And it's got a setup code here, which is kind of helpful. And we've got Nest Hub 124E in the bottom right-hand corner. I might see if I can adjust my camera to get a better view of that. Okay, so with it powered up, we've got some information on here. Get the app, and we've got a setup code, setup QR code there, and some other things. So I'm going to, over on my iPhone here, open up Google Home, and it's already detected set up new Nest Hub. And it says if this is your device, you can set it up now or do it later. Now, I'm just going to click setup because it's obviously the easiest one there. Now it's asking me to choose a home, and I'm going to have to blur out my address there. But it says you'll be able to control devices and services in this home. So I'll tap that and I'll tap next. Is looking for devices. And Nest Hub found. Would you like to set up Nest Hub 124E? And we can see that we are indeed looking at Nest Hub 124E. So I'll tap next, and it's asking me for camera permission to scan the QR code. So I'll tap scan code. It's asking me for permission to the camera. I'll tap OK. And now we can scan the QR code with the camera on our phone. Connecting to the Nest Hub. So it's asking, do you want to help improve Nest Hub? Do you want to help improve everyone's experience by sharing device stats and crash reports with Google? I think that's okay. I'll tap yes. There is a learn more button, which will probably tell you about the privacy aspects of that. Generally speaking, most companies, and I'm not saying that this is the case here, but generally speaking, most companies will have a privacy statement about the data that they collect, suggesting that they will obfuscate any personally identifying data in the crash statistics, etc., that they receive from your device. I'm just going to tap yes, I'm in there. It's asking me where this device is. Now, I've not yet decided where I'm going to put it. For now, I will put it in the dining room because that's where we're sitting right now. And I'll tap next. It's asking me what Wi-Fi it wants me to connect to. Now, this Google Nest Hub can connect to a 5 gigahertz or 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. I'm going to select the HiveMind Automation network here. HiveMind Automation is a mixed network. It's 5 and 2.4 gigahertz. The interesting thing with this Wi-Fi network, though, is that I do have it set up on a different VLAN than the rest of my network. So HiveMind IoT and the Force are on the default VLAN at the moment, whereas HiveMind Automation is on a separate VLAN. And that comes into play a little bit later in my security series, but I'll be interested to see how this behaves because I have seen some strange behavior with the HomePod Mini when it's not on the same Wi-Fi specifically as some of the devices that I want to control, or if it's not on the same Wi-Fi specifically as the phone is. And the cat has decided to walk in front of the Nest Hub here, so we will just try and move her out of the way. Okay, so we've got our HiveMind Automation network selected and we'll tap next. It's asking me for the password for that Wi-Fi network, so I'm going to provide that. And I'll tap connect. So it's connecting to the Wi-Fi, and on the device itself, we can also see connecting to HiveMind Automation. So it's asking me to connect my phone to the HiveMind Automation network. It says you're not currently on the same network as your device. Connect to the appropriate Wi-Fi network to resume setup. So that is kind of not great that it doesn't work across different Wi-Fis. So I'll change over to the HiveMind Automation network. So connecting to Wi-Fi, connected, and the device itself is just turned off. And it's telling me that it's updating. So it's about halfway through an update. It says it's going to take a few minutes, and it's calling itself dining room display now in the bottom right-hand corner here. So it's saying, set up Google Assistant. Nest Hub is powered by the Google Assistant. Ask it questions. Tell it to do things. It's always there to help. Some information about Google partners. There's some services and privacy information. It says when you use your assistant to talk to a service, Google shares information with that service so it can fulfill your request for your preferences. You can manage and reset the data sent to each service in the services sections in settings. It's restarting to apply the update. Guests in your assistant, it says let friends and family know that their interactions may be stored in your Google account unless they link their account. And then they can teach Assistant to recognize their voice. You can view and delete those interactions at My Activity. And YouTube recommendations. For some displays, other people who use this device may see your video or music content recommendations, which are based on your YouTube, YouTube TV, and YouTube Music app watch history. Okay, so it's started back up. It's connecting to our Wi-Fi network. I'm going to tap next on my phone here. It's asking me to open the Google Home app and link your account. I thought that's what we were doing. Okay, so it's saying finish setup in Home, then get to know your device. And on the phone, it says set up voice match on devices at Hivemind Automation. Your assistant will recognize your voice on all eligible devices in this home, including devices that you add later. So I'll tap continue, agree to voice match on devices. Here's what you need to bear in mind. Voice match allows your assistant to identify you and tell you apart from others. The assistant takes clips of your voice to form a unique voice model, which is only stored on your device. Your voice model may be sent temporarily to Google to better identify your voice. If you decide later that voice match isn't for you, simply remove it in the assistant settings. To view or delete the audio clips that you record during voice match setup, go to g.co/assistant/match. Note, a similar voice or recording might be able to access your personal results or your assistant. These devices will recognize your voice, eligible devices that you add later, and the dining room display. I will scroll down, and we've also got dining room speaker. And that is the Google Nest thing, very similar to an Echo that I have. It's actually now in the spare room, the dining room. It's all good. And it says you can always turn off voice match for specific devices through the settings in your Google Home app or Google Assistant app. I'm going to tap I agree, and I'm going to get the cat off my keyboard. So the next step, it's asking help improve audio technologies by saving audio. You can help improve the products and technologies that you use by saving your audio from Search Assistant and Maps. For some improvements, trained reviewers may analyze samples of the saved audio. If you use Assistant with voice match, your voice from this is saved will also be temporarily processed to improve our voice technologies. You can learn more about your audio, and there's a short video that you can watch. This audio will be saved with your web app activity in your Google account on Google services only if you choose to. You can listen to and delete it at activity.google.com. I'm okay with being able to delete that, so I'll tap Start Saving Audio there. And there's some terms and conditions here that we can read and scroll through and tap I agree. It says get personal results on devices at Hivemind Automation. Allow your assistant to give you info specific to you on all eligible devices in this home, including eligible devices you add later. Customize or turn off personal results at any time. You can always turn off or customize personal results, and when they're shown for any or all devices through the settings in your Google Home app or Google Assistant app. Personal results may vary by device type and include info specific to you, things like your calendar, email, photos, contacts, and reminders, recommendations like YouTube videos, information from connected health and fitness devices and services, personal actions like payments and calling contacts. When you ask for personal results, your assistant will respond when your voice is recognized. This means your assistant won't respond with your personal results unless it recognizes your voice. Some personal results show on smart displays without you asking. Anyone can act on them. On smart displays, personal results appear proactively without you having to ask for them on the home screen and as notifications. Anyone can see, tap, and act on these personal results, but you can customize when these personal results appear through the settings in your Google Home app or Google Assistant app. Anyone in front of the smart display will see your proactive personalized recommendations like YouTube recommendations. These devices will give personal results, eligible devices you add later, the dining room display, and the dining room speaker. I'll turn that on, that's okay. And it says your assistant is ready. You can always make changes through the settings in your Google Home app or Google Assistant app, and I'll tap next. With 14 days of ad-free YouTube, no payment method required for this 14-day trial. New users can extend up to 3 months on us when subscribing later with a payment method, and then $19.95 a month. Terms apply. So it's asking us if we want to get 14 days of YouTube Premium. I'm going to tap no thanks to that right now. Being a YouTuber, I would recommend that at some point you consider YouTube Premium. I digress. What do you want to set up next? I'm going to turn off the sleep tracking. Control your display using gestures. That could be interesting. I'll leave customize your photo frame on. Watch films and TV shows. Call friends and family. I'll tap next. So control your display using gestures. Nest Hub uses motion sense to detect gestures. We'll go next and we'll tap agree. Personalize your photo frame. We'll go next. So you can use either Google Photos Art Gallery or you can choose a full screen clock, which full screen clock might be good, but I'll just go with the Art Gallery for now. And we can change that later if we want. So this is our background for our display. Featured photos. That space is good. Street art, not so much. Captured on pixel, not so much. And this is just really personal preference. I might actually turn fine art back on. That would be kind of nice to have. So we'll tap next. Watch your favorite films and TV shows. We'll tap next. We can link our Netflix, Disney, Stan, Foxtel, or 9Now. I'll just tap not now on that. And we've got options to stay in touch. Calling mum. We'll tap next and see what that does. I don't know that it's going to do much because I don't think I have any calling within my Google account, and the cat is in front of the display again. I'll just tap not now on that, so we'll leave that alone. But it is asking me if I want to be able to use calls and display details on my Nest speakers about my phone provider. So it may actually be able to use my Telstra account to do calls and things. That's interesting. I'll just tap not now on that. It's asking to add household contacts. Again, I'll tap not now on that. We can add the household contacts later. Almost finished. Here's what we've set up. Devices, services, and Wi-Fi. We'll tap next. Learn about the controls on your Nest Hub. So we can tap next. Get the cat out of the way. So there's an ambient EQ light sensor which adjusts the screen brightness to blend into the room, and no, it's not a camera apparently. We'll tap next. Adjust the volume with your voice or the volume buttons on the back. So those buttons we saw on the back before, are volume rocker buttons. We'll tap next again. Mic switch to turn the mic off, slide the switch on the back to show orange. And we saw that before. And I just toggled that and it said the mic's back on. And the light on the front also turns orange when it's off. So we turn that off, and you can just see there that there's an orange light just next to the ambient light sensor there. We'll tap next. Dining room display is ready. Look for the cast button in your favorite video and music apps to watch on the big screen. We'll tap continue. And we're back to our main page inside the Google Home app. I'll tap finish setup on the display here. We've got our Google logo kind of spinning around as it loads.
Hi, I'm your Google Assistant, here to help you throughout your day. So you can get started, let me show you around.
So it's just restarting to apply an update as well. I'm just going to grab a second mic.
40 minutes later.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure exactly how long this update has taken. It seems like it's probably at least 45 minutes or so for this update, so not super impressed with that. But the good news is it's just finished and it's restarting, so hopefully this is the last update that needs to be applied before we can actually make use of our new Google Nest Hub. A lot of updates is not a great thing. We now have access to our Google Nest Hub, and it's finished the updates. We've got our time in the bottom left corner and our date and the current temperature. And if I tap, we get some things here. So we've got your afternoon, show my photo memories. We've got things like our lounge AC, so we can see what that's set to and drill in. And heat's currently set to 21 degrees. It's currently 23. We've got our temperature, our mode here as well. So we've got heat, cool, dry, fan, eco, or off. Our controls, things like our fan speed, which is set to auto, low, mid, high, and high. So it's cool that we've got that. I'm a little bit disappointed. It seems to be a bit more responsive now. Initially, it didn't feel like it was actually responding to me tapping on the label there. The responsiveness is inconsistent, which is a little bit funky, but we can deal with that. We've got our dining room lights, which are currently on, and we can tap on the tile, and that's going to turn the lights in here off. Is it? So it's definitely turned off my LED strip and the twinkly light, but it hasn't turned off the overhead lights. I think that might actually just be something funky with the way the grouping is set up. So I'm not too worried about that. I do need to take a look at that. Got add contacts to speed dial for anyone to call. Partly cloudy, so current weather details. Press and hold to dismiss. Top stories for you, so it's doing some news stuff. Let's drill in and take a look. But I don't think it's actually anything of any real consequence. It's taking a moment to load though. This is just Google News apparently, but it's a YouTube 5 hours ago thing. Interesting. So we'll go back out and we'll scroll across to... Yep, so it just started playing a YouTube video there. We'll scroll across. It's not super responsive, to be honest, which I'm not super happy with. I guess I can live with it though. So when we get to the end of your afternoon, it starts to scroll across. You can kind of see at the top from your afternoon, it's going over to home control. We've got things like lights, cameras, climate, speakers and TV, routines, security and rooms. So if we drill into security, for example, we can see we've got the Xiaomi gateway alarm in the bathroom. We can arm that. It's currently disarmed and it's got system sensors as well. So it knows what the sensors are there. That's kind of cool. There's different cameras and we can scroll through those. Those don't appear to be showing as online right now. I'm not sure if that's a Google thing. We can scroll further across. We've got things like our dining room Echo Plus, our dining room other thing there. So our Echo Plus, we just turned that off and I don't know what that did. I'm going to turn that back on because that could be problematic. Our dining room speaker. We've got our cat cam stream, our lounge AC again. Learn more about how to control your home devices. Xiaomi bathroom. As we scroll further across, we've got media. So we've got things like our YouTube. We've got Spotify, so we can listen to Spotify on here. Top news stories from Google News. Play different podcasts. Resume the music. And if we keep scrolling, we get to communicate. So there's things like add contacts to speed dial for anyone to call. We've got broadcast. That's similar to an announcement on the Amazon devices. We've got making a video call. I'm guessing it's Google Hangouts.
Before you can make a call on Duo, you'll need to complete a step in the Google Home.
So it's Google Duo. Make a phone call, broadcast to another room, and call another room. We've got wellness, so we've got meditations to try, and there's sleep sensing. We can use the Google app to set up sleep sensing. And then there's a discover section here. So learn something new. Why is the sky blue? Share this photo. How many liters in a gallon? Translate your conversation. Be my interpreter. So that'll be interesting. Who won NBA Finals in 2016? Set a reminder for 5 p.m. What time is it? What time is my alarm? Will it rain tomorrow? What day is it today? What sound does a cow make? Show me the latest movies. What's on my shopping list? Roll 3 10-sided die. What's the closest spa? I want to make brownies. What is 9 factorial and the amount of fat in an egg? So there's a bit there. I'll go back to curated art and we'll just tap on that so that we get back to our home screen. And we should just be able to say, what's the weather like tomorrow?
Tomorrow there'll be scattered showers with a high of 14 and a low of 9.
So we see it read out the weather for tomorrow in my area, which I'll need to bleep and blur out. It's got scattered showers, a high of 14, low of 9, and it showed us some information about that. And then it's cleared out the details. So we can also say, what time is it?
It's 4:40 p.m.
Which is fantastic. And again, it's showing our location, which I'm going to have to blur out. What time is it in London?
The time in London, United Kingdom, is 7:40 a.m.
Fantastic. So what about Paris?
The time in Paris, France, is 8:40 a.m.
So you can see we get some different suggestions down the bottom here, and we can kind of continue our conversation. So what is the temperature in Paris? We can ask.
Paris, France, it's currently 24 degrees.
That actually sounds quite delightful. I think I would rather be there than in Melbourne right now. Back over on our app, we see we can drill back in. We've got dining room display not playing. We've got a volume setting here, which is presumably for music. We've got a 3-dot stack here for help, feedback, or cancel. We've got a cog to look at some settings, so device information, recognition, and sharing, and some other things that we can do to modify the settings there, which we looked at all of that before. And there's some equalizer settings for the audio. So we set up the unit, and it actually did take a little while to set up because of that bizarre, massive update that it needed to apply. It really did take quite a while to finish that update. In terms of the actual process, it wasn't too difficult. It was a little bit involved because we needed to agree to a whole bunch of terms and conditions and things. But it wasn't too hard. It was just a lot of waiting. What we should be able to do now, though, is over in our Home Assistant, I'm just going to refresh my devices page here. I was hoping that we would have a new device discovered, but it hasn't shown up. What I should be able to do is go add integration, and then we'll search for Google, and we'll search for Google Cast. And it says already configured, only a single configuration possible, which that's not what I expected. But I'll hit close and we'll go and find Google Cast. And we've got 2 devices there. I'll drill in and I'm just going to hit configure known hosts, a comma separated list of host names or IP addresses. And that's if MDNS discovery is not working. I'm going to click next and see if we can pick something up here. So we can add and allow list of UUIDs and ignore CEC. I'll just hit submit and it says options fully saved. And we've still only got 2 devices. It's not seeing my dining room display. And I have a feeling that that is because we selected the Hivemind automation network instead of using one of the IoT networks. So if I go into our settings here, let's change it back to a different network, perhaps if we can, and see how that works. So we'll go into Wi-Fi and we'll go forget this network. It says forget Wi-Fi network, and it's going to fall off the Wi-Fi in a moment, I imagine. We'll hopefully be able to then go into settings. No, we're not going to be able to go into settings because it can't see the Wi-Fi network, which is going to be a problem. So now that it's forgotten the network, it's not connecting to anything. And we can't control anything because it's not connecting to a network. It's not going to get any curated art because it's not connected to a network to download stuff. It can get some curated art, so that's not terrible. It must have cached some of that information. I'm a little bit disappointed that it doesn't seem to be able to traverse networks. That may be on Home Assistant. So I'm just going to reset up the Nest Hub, I think. So I don't actually know how to reset this. Okay, so we hold down...
To completely reset this device, release to cancel.
Yeah, so we can just hold down the microphone buttons for 10 seconds and it's going to...
To completely reset this device, release to cancel.
And it's going to factory reset the device, which not ideal. Which means we have to set it up again. I'm a little disappointed that it doesn't seem to be able to change the Wi-Fi networks easily. There's other things that just are not quite right about it. I will get this set up though on the correct Wi-Fi network so that we can talk to it from Home Assistant. Okay, so with it restarted and on the correct Wi-Fi network now, we see that in our Google Cast over on Home Assistant, we've got 3 devices and 3 entities, and we've got this Nest Hub 124E here. And if we drill in, we can see that it's showing us off. We can drill in a bit further. I'm not sure what this on and off button does. Okay, so we can turn the display off, and oh, that's not quite what it's doing. It's turning on Home Assistant. So that's something we might need to discuss in a different video, but it's saying welcome to Home Assistant. We can turn the volume up and down with the Google Cast control. We can also browse our media here, so we can look at things like our cameras, and I should be able to, if I click on, let's say, front door high here, it's now playing default media receiver. And it's going to, I think, try to display our front door camera. So that's working just like I would hope it to. So that's kind of cool. We can back out of there. We can go text to speech, Google. And we can type in a message here. And I'll just lean closer and click say.
Hello, welcome to the Hive.
So it created the audio file and it played that. So we can back out here now. We can go to dashboards, and this is actually kind of cool. If I click on the default dashboard here and hit play, it's going to try and play my default dashboard to Home Assistant. And it says it was unable to connect to the Home Assistant WebSocket API. So I'm going to have to play with that a little bit more in another video, but that gives you a bit of an understanding of what I have planned to do in the future. But if I turn that off, we go back to our default settings there, and we can again browse our media, go text to speech, and we can do that again even without turning it on.
Hello, welcome to the Hive.
And so it puts it into Google Cast mode to then play that. So then we have to turn that off. So any kind of automation that we would use to play a sound to that would also then need to turn the media player turn off at the end of that as well. But we can do things like play music to it, etc., which is quite nice. So that is the Google Nest Hub. Now, in terms of the features, it's quite a nice little display, and to be able to do things like show our photos, to have these kind of fine art screensavers and things, it's pretty decent. Also do like the fact that there seems to be some pretty good Home Assistant integrations with this, where we might actually be able to use our Google Nest display here in order to use it as a dashboard with Home Assistant. I'm really stoked about that, and we'll be exploring that in a future video. But as it is at the moment, in terms of a kind of home controller, it's pretty reasonable. I do obviously need to figure out what's going on with the cameras and why Google can't see those. I have a feeling I might need to enable some of those within Home Assistant to fix that up. And also it's kind of cool to see that we can use it as a media player endpoint as well. This second generation Nest Hub can also operate as a Matter controller and a Thread border router. So I'm looking forward to playing around with the Matter features here with the Google Nest Hub. And as I mentioned, I am also going to look into using this as a Home Assistant dashboard, so we can then use this to turn things on and off directly from the Google Nest Hub and interface directly with Home Assistant instead of needing to necessarily use the Google native integration, which I think will be interesting. So be sure to get subscribed, and if you turn on notifications, you'll get an alert when those videos come out. There's a couple of security concerns, being that it is a Google device. Google have a history of not being entirely transparent with the way that they use customer data and voice data from the microphones on their devices, leaving the obvious question about how they make use of this data. That said, as we saw during the onboarding of the device, it does ask a lot of questions, and there's a fair amount of information in there. So I do suspect to some degree that they have updated their policies and their documentation to kind of demonstrate how they do and may use your data. It is also worth mentioning that in the past they've been caught out with undocumented microphones being found in some of their other devices, and that data from those microphones being stored on their servers. We will be taking a look at various ways that we can mitigate some of the assorted security and privacy concerns with smart home devices, including things like this Google Nest Hub, in an upcoming smart home security series that I'm working on. If you've got ideas that you want me to include in that smart home security series, please do let me know in the comments section down below, and be sure to get subscribed and turn on notifications so you're among the first to know when that security series gets kicked off. Feel free to let me know what you think of the Google Nest Hub in the comments section below. That's all we have for this video, and I hope that it helped you in your home automation journey. Be sure to drop a comment down below with home automation ideas you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider changing that now. While you're at it, hit the bell icon to get notified when I release new videos each week. Lastly, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to help to support the channel, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description as well. Any contributions that you make through Buy Me a Coffee do get put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Don't forget to check out my website as well, hivemindautomation.com.au. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.